Good morning. I'm Rebecca Smith. Welcome into you. Hope you're having a fabulous start to your Friday. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's Friday. Great news, right? I'm Michelle Chamberlain, filling in for Bill Bryant. Hopefully he's not watching this and he's sleeping in.
Sleeping in. That one we hope, right, Micah?
You hope, but you know he's watching. Good morning, Bill. Defender Radar Network outside east and southeastern Kentucky. We're seeing still a couple of showers left over, and they're trying to move on out. It's just taking a little bit of time. So we're going to be watching east and southeastern Kentucky because that's where the energy is located right now. Much of your day, central zones, Lexington, Frankfort, all looks well back toward the west. Much of your day. Now notice I'm not saying all of your day, because then as we head off into the evening and night, storms move on in, and that's going to be with that front. Right now, it's that low pressure system continuing to try to move over the mountains, but as I've always said, and I've said this since I've been here about 4 years now, is when you get into the mountains, you have to have a strong front or strong system to push over the mountains, and we don't have that right now, okay? So it's just taking a sweet little time, but it will get over those, and then we'll watch in toward the afternoon and evening to watch for some storms moving on in with that front. 70s right now, patchy fog here and there. We're going to talk about that front and how that's going to affect our weekend forecast. That's coming up.
Thank you, Micah.
Yeah, we begin with an update on a traffic impact here in Lexington. I-75 is back open after an early morning crash.
Yeah, a minor crash caused a major mess in the northbound lanes near the exit 111. Looking at our live drive traffic map right now, you can see traffic is once again moving. And WKYT's Mark Barber is live for us this morning with an update. Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. Quite a lot has changed here in the past 45 to 30 minutes, and that all boils down to some really great news for drivers. That is because this wreck has been cleared, that slick oil spill is now off of the road, and as you just mentioned, traffic is moving very smoothly once again. It's Friday morning, right? So these cleanup crews, they rush to get that taken care of, and as we just said, everything moving well out here on your Friday morning commute time. So the problem really started around 1:30 this morning when a semi crashed into a wall there at mile 111 on I-75 North. When that happened, police shut down all 3 lanes. A little while later, they were able to open the shoulder to traffic to kind of move people through, but there was some heavy delays starting, and there were also some backups for the detour that would take about 20 minutes or so. Crews, they said that they worked very quickly as they could, in fact, to get that oil off of the road. They say that a lot of vehicles drove through that area, and their tires spread that oil around I-75. But again, it's all clear here this morning, so we're very happy to report that your morning commute should go off without a hitch. Of course, we'll keep you posted with the very latest right here on WKYT, live in Lexington.
Thank you, Mark. We are tracking breaking news out of Laurel County this morning. A house fire has a highway north of London shut down. Dispatchers say the fire is on Highway 3094 in East Bernstadt, but it is Highway 3434 that is closed right now. We're told flames were shooting out from a 2-story home when crews got there a little before 3 o'clock in the morning. We've also learned that people inside managed to get out safely. New this morning, a man is in critical condition after being hit by a car in Lexington. Police say the man was trying to cross North Broadway from the Thorntons on Loudon Avenue when he was hit by a car. He was rushed to UK Hospital. Police say the driver is not facing any charges.
Another round of heavy rain brought flash flooding to parts of southern and eastern Kentucky. This is what folks in Pulaski County had to deal with. High water covered part of Highway 452 in Eubank. Several homes and cars were also surrounded by high water. At one point, one man was using a boat to get around. People there say it took just a few minutes for the area to flood. High water also caused problems in Bell County. A viewer sent us this picture of Mudlick Branch Road in the Beverly area. This is what it looked like as high waters covered Mudlick Branch. Here you can see the water as it covered people's yards and rose within feet of a few homes. No one was hurt, but the flooding did cause some damage to a few roads.
Clay County may have been one of the hardest hit areas last night. This eyewitness video, very dramatic, comes from the Makery, a business in Manchester. Look at that. County officials say flooding caused a couple of roads there to buckle. Crews have since started repairing some of the damage. No injuries were reported. Flash flooding was also reported in Montgomery County. Cindy sent us some eyewitness video from Jeffersonville. Looks like a creek just running through that area there. At one point, she says high water along the creek caused it to spill over parts of Sawmill Road. Remember, we can help you track storms with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download it for free from the app or Google Play stores.
Frustration continues to grow for some people in Powell County. They're demanding answers about an oily substance that sprayed onto homes after lightning hit a gas pipeline in Clay City earlier this week. Owners of the pipeline, Kinder Morgan, says preliminary results appear to show that the substance is not a threat. But those affected say they want more details.
It's frustrating to me, but it's more concerning for my citizens. That's what I've indicated. Hopefully these tests do come back, show that, there's not any danger.
Kinder Morgan has not said when they will release the full results of the preliminary test. In the meantime, the judge executive said the county is doing their own sampling to get the most unbiased results possible.
New this morning, police in Laurel County are looking for a man behind a grocery store robbery. It happened just before 11 last night at the Kiwi Grocery off Kentucky 312 south of London. The sheriff's office says a gunman stole cash and cigarettes. They say the suspect's about 6 feet tall and was wearing rolled up jeans, black shoes, and a gray hoodie.
The victim of a deadly workplace accident in Mercer County has been identified. Investigators say David Huff was killed while operating a forklift at Southern States in Harrodsburg. The coroner says Huff was pronounced dead at the scene. OSHA is handling the investigation. A Clay County couple says they were kicked out of their apartment for being gay. Joshua Melton and his husband James say they had been living in the apartment for about 9 months. But in June, they claim their landlord, Manchester City Council member Esther Thompson, told them to move out. The couple also says she used homophobic slurs and assaulted them, and they say they did not get any help from Clay County officials.
I cried. There was nothing we could do. We had to get out.
So for them to say that, we are that we did not do anything to help them is obviously inaccurate. I mean, the record must speak for itself.
Now, the county attorney says he did help by filing a criminal complaint over the assault claim. WKYT tried reaching out to Thompson, but she refused to comment. She'll be arraigned on the assault complaint next week. The Kentucky Equality Federation is asking the U.S. Attorney's Office for help in this case.
A judge has ordered the owner of a Scott County cemetery to either finish the work he was paid to do or give customers a full refund. According to a lawsuit filed by Attorney General Andy Beshear's office, Dale Shackelford took thousands of dollars from customers for grave markers but did not install them. Shackelford was not in court during yesterday's hearing, and the Attorney General's office says he never responded to the lawsuit. They say they plan to take action if Shackelford does not comply with the ruling. After a lot of backlash, a Kentucky high school is amending its dress code that banned hairstyles often worn by black students. Before last night's community meeting, hairstyles like cornrows, twists, and deadlocks could not be worn by students at Butler High School in Louisville. After hearing from parents and community members last night, the school's site-based council changed the policy to allow for most hairstyles so long as they are neatly maintained.
A Central Kentucky airport is getting money from the state to pay for renovations. Governor Matt Bevins says the Georgetown Scott County Airport will receive more than $1 million. He says it's part of a larger effort in which the state will hand out $20 million to general aviation airports around the state to pay for pavement projects.
Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin will ceremonially sign a new bill for Kentucky's veterans today. House Bill 183 has to do with a new program that provides certification to small businesses owned by disabled veterans.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Have a few showers down towards south and southeastern Kentucky. Now, that is the area we're going to see the next few hours with that chance of rain. Not so much central and western zones. Central and western zones were drying out for much of your day. Not all of your day, but much of it. And I'll show you why here in just a few minutes. Well, I'm not saying all of it, but a couple of showers here and there. None of this to write home about. None of that to worry about. So we go through the day. Noontime still only a slight chance of rain, especially east-southeast. And then we get into your afternoon. Deep into your afternoon, watch out for a few storms that'll start to move on into the western zones. As of right now, I would say anywhere from 5 to about 9 p.m. I know that's a big window, and during those times, 5 p.m., more than likely you're not even back home from work, some of us. At 9 p.m., we're about ready to go to bed. I get this two different parts of your day, but it's spotty. It's not really so much we're getting a line that's going to be moving through, so it'll be different for everybody. And so watch out just for that. Late into the afternoon, off into the evening hours. The breakdown of this is the warm and humid air continues. But watch out for some possible flooding because of that humid air. So any storms that come over you will put down heavy amounts of rain, and we just do not need heavy amounts of rain. A lot of us do not. And so that's what we're going to be watching closely for, maybe even some flash flooding in the next 24, 48 hours. Now the front on Saturday No doubt about it. That is our best chance of rain in the forecast is on Saturday. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. I would say morning hours is your best bet to stay dry. However, there's still a small chance during that time. Afternoon, that's when you're looking for much of your rain to move on in. So if you are doing the Highway 127 yard sale, do it in the morning hours. But know this, if you are actually participating, grab a tarp, get ready for that toward the afternoon because it looks like rain will be on the way. Much better for Sunday, though. Promise you that. Here's your look across your 7-day forecast. And the 7-day isn't all that bad until, well, as long as we can get through the next couple of days. So really it's not too bad. So that's what we're going to be watching out for. Current traffic, guys, actually looks pretty good across the region as I-75 is back open. Wanted to get you updated on that there at mile marker 111, which is just to the south of the I-64, I-75 southern split. So there's some good news for us this morning.
It is good news. They were expecting it to be closed for some time. So
that's right.
We did get some good news.
There you go.
So each morning we bring you weather and traffic together.
And here's Officer Don right now with a look at what's happening out on the roads. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Well, here in Lexington, not dealing with that kind of problems. In fact, the circle looks okay on the inner and outer loops. We just checked between Winchester and Liberty Road and no problems at all. The Todd's Road widening project continues today. Expect delays through there. Of course, Hayes Boulevard is still shut off. That's something that we have to detour around. As we're going to look outside, show you an overall view of Lexington traffic flow here in the city. We're okay with no problems on the exit ramps off the interstate, and we're also normal stuff coming in from Versailles. Live look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government traffic cam there. Newtown Pike and I-75 rolling just fine. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you. More news from us is on the way. Hope your Friday's off to an awesome start.
Yeah, it's finally here. The 2016 Summer Olympics are getting underway tonight. We'll have a look ahead on WKYT.
And what's being done after Lexington police say a toddler was left alone in a daycare van overnight. 6:15 is the time this morning. We are tracking an international breaking news story. Officials say at least 12 people have been killed and 15 others injured after rebels opened fire in a crowded market in India.
Officials say one gunman was killed and troops are looking for 5 others. Several homes and shops were badly damaged in the attack.
Well, all eyes will soon be on Rio de Janeiro as the 2016 Summer Olympics officially kick off. They kick off tonight with the opening ceremony.
Yeah, it should be fun. American athletes are already in Brazil and they're ready to go, including the most decorated Olympian ever, swimmer Michael Phelps. Phelps will carry the stars and stripes at tonight's opening ceremony. Now, this is the first time the Olympics have been held in South America rather. We'll have more on tonight's opening ceremony coming up at 6:30.
President Barack Obama urging Congress to move quickly on emergency funding to combat the Zika virus. The president's appeal comes on the same day as officials in Florida started aerial spraying above a Miami neighborhood at the center of the Zika outbreak. Health officials have declared one part of that so-called Zika zone clear of the virus. Investigators think the murders of 8 family members in Ohio was carried out by more than one shooter. Local and state authorities have released few details about the April shootings near Piketon, saying they don't want to jeopardize their chances of catching and convicting the people responsible. 7 adults and a teenage boy from the Roden family were found dead nearly 4 months ago.
Donald Trump and running mate Mike Pence will present a unified front as they rally together in the battleground state of Wisconsin today.
The event caps a rough week for the Republican nominee, highlighted by declining poll numbers and controversial endorsements. Brian Webb has the latest.
Donald Trump struggled to move his campaign forward Thursday, once again splitting with running mate Mike Pence over support for 2 Republicans up for re-election.
Of course, I support John McCain and Kelly Ayotte and all of our Republican incumbents.
The high-profile endorsement came just one day after Pence endorsed House Speaker Paul Ryan, whom Trump also snubbed. Still, Trump insisted he and Pence are on the same page.
He came to me and he asked me, would it be okay? And I gave him totally my blessing.
An 11-year-old put Pence on the spot earlier in the day at an event in Raleigh.
You've been kind of softening up on his words.
Well, I couldn't be more proud to stand with Donald Trump, and we are shoulder to shoulder in this campaign, my friend.
Trump has struggled to refocus his campaign on Hillary Clinton amid a series of missteps this week. The Democratic nominee seized on the opportunity to chip away at Trump's business record.
Everything he's made somewhere else. He's not put Americans to work.
In an interview with CBS's Norah O'Donnell, Clinton's running mate Tim Kaine sought to put her email scandal to bed.
She said, I made a mistake. I screwed up and I've learned something and I'll do it differently.
A pair of polls out yesterday shows Clinton pulling ahead of Trump nationally and topping him in 3 key states. Brian Webb for CBS News.
And Clinton is set to address African American and Hispanic journalists in Washington today. Kane holds an event in Wisconsin.
Your time is 6:18 this morning. We have an important recall to inform you about. Ford is issuing a safety recall on 830,000 of its vehicles. Several models from the past 4 years have a defective side door, which may unlatch while driving. Dealers will replace those latches for free. Now, affected models include the 2013 through 15 C-Max and Ford Escape, the 2012 through 15 Ford Focus, the 2015 Mustang and Lincoln MKC, and the 2014 through 16 Transit. Amtrak says its trains are running on time more often because of new engines it's been using. They say delays are down more than 20% over the last 3 years on routes using the new locomotives, including the Northeast Corridor between Boston and Washington. Dish Network is offering a less expensive way to watch cable TV. Unfortunately, the offer does not include some of the major channels. The new Flex Pack starts at $30 plus taxes and fees, but won't include ESPN or the main broadcast networks. Instead, you'll get about 50 basic cable channels like AMC, TNT, and FX. Summer's not even over yet, but you are already ready for pumpkin spice, right? So there's going to be pumpkin spice Cheerios. General Mills is jumping on the pumpkin spice craze with its newest flavor. They're expected to be in stores just before Labor Day weekend.
That could get me to eat some Cheerios.
Sounds yummy, right?
Yeah, delicious. WKYT This Morning is just getting started. When a construction vehicle hits a gas line, the results aren't good. Coming up, we'll show you how one construction crew learned that the hard way.
We saw a little rain out there early this morning back toward east and southeastern Kentucky. We'll have scattered showers, thunderstorms there for the weekend. I'm going to show you when these move on in. That's coming up next.
Back 6:23 is the time. Interstate 75 is back open in Lexington following an early morning crash.
Yeah, that's what's trending at this hour this morning. All northbound lanes at the 111 were closed for several hours overnight after a semi-truck crashed into a burial wall. No one was injured, but the crash sent oil all over the interstate. Police say a hazmat crew helped in the cleanup, and all lanes were reopened shortly after 5 this morning. So now let's get a quick check at the forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Well, we have Lakeside Live later on tonight, and that's at Lexington Green here in Lexington. And hopefully, crossing our fingers, we won't have any rain to deal with. At that time, I'd say about a 30 to 40% chance of rain. Have a few showers down toward the southeast. We're in between two systems right now. System back toward the Appalachians, and then we look back towards, say, the Mississippi Valley region, and then up toward the Ohio River Valley as well. And so that's another complex heading our direction. Most of this is heading southbound, but still, it could throw off a few showers, a few rumbles of thunder there back toward our western zones later on today. It's unfortunate because that's an area that's picked up a good amounts of rain the past 24 hours. So we'll talk about this. We're going to be looking closely at some of these rain chances as we travel in towards your afternoon. Because some of this, I mean, if you get some heavy rain in spots that we've seen tremendous amounts of rain the past few weeks, it could cause some problems, some flash flooding in the forecast. That's where we're going to focus on today. The weekend, Saturday, does not look good. Sunday looks much better. I'll break that down for you in your 7-day in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Micah. A water main break caused a giant sinkhole to open up in Albany, New York, but it wasn't the only issue.
Yeah, check this out. The sinkhole opened right under a parked SUV and nearly swallowed the vehicle whole. The sinkhole itself was serious business, measuring 15 by 30 feet wide and up to 15 feet deep. The medical student who owns the SUV told the local media he's trying to stay calm, but with an exam coming up, this obviously does not help things. Officials say there's no timeline for when the sinkhole will be fixed.
Wow.
It's not what you need during exam time, is it?
I'd say so. Another stressor.
So we have some incredible video to show you for this next story.
Take a look. This can happen when a backhoe accidentally hits a gas line, apparently. Happened in Los Angeles Wednesday. Yikes. After crews hit a 4-inch line while doing construction. Nearby homes had to be evacuated and crews could put the fire out. You can see all that black smoke just billowing through the air right there, trying to get that out. Luckily, no one, including the operator of the backhoe, injured. Could you imagine that black smoke?
Oh, that video is incredible.
People have all sorts of creative ways to celebrate birthdays, but this one looks like something straight out of a Disney movie, that one being Up.
Yeah, check out this Canadian woman who decided to tie herself to a giant bunch of balloons and float in the sky. She really did this. It was part of a publicity stunt to promote Canadians' 150th birthday. The big day isn't until next year, but yesterday marked the 150-day countdown And the woman in the stunt is an experienced skydiver who was tethered to the ground the entire time. So don't try this at home.
I guess it took more than 150 balloons to pull that off.
I would think so.
As they said, it was like, what, 500? So
would you do this?
You know, probably not. But I do like the idea that she's tethered to the ground. Maybe that would get me to do it.
She's up.
It looks like fun. It does. Yeah. When we return this morning, a central Kentucky town is preparing for a zombie apocalypse.
Look ahead to Cynthiana's Walking Dead Day. That's coming up at 6:30.
Is that your zombie
Yes,
impression?
did you like that?
You should share that with the audience. Tonight's Mega Millions is 30 million and Powerballs is 52 million.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good Friday morning to you. I'm Michelle Chamberlain, filling in for Bill Bryant, who has this Friday off.
Yes, and I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope you're having a great start to your Friday. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Now at 6:30, an update on a major traffic alert in Lexington after a semi-crash had part of I-75 shut down for hours.
The state is now investigating after Lexington police said a toddler was left alone in a daycare van overnight.
And the 2016 Summer Olympics kick off today in Rio. We'll have your Olympic coverage ahead on WKYT This Morning.
And this is the actual look outside. We have some patchy fog out there. It's not a good look as you're traveling early this morning. Some pretty nasty fog here in Lexington. Not everybody's seeing that, and we do have some showers down toward the southeast. When does the rain move back in? Because you know it's coming. We'll talk about that in your weekend forecast coming up.
We begin with some good news this morning. A stretch of I-75 in Lexington is back open after being shut down for hours because of a semi-crash.
Yeah, it happened around 1:30 this morning in the northbound lanes near exit 111. Police say a semi ran off the road and hit a wall. The driver was not seriously hurt, but the crash did cause some oil and fuel to leak out onto the interstate. All three northbound lanes were shut down until just about an hour ago.
Also new this morning, a man is in critical condition after being hit by a car in Lexington. Police say the man was trying to cross North Broadway from the Thorntons on Loudon Avenue when he was hit by a car. He was rushed to UK Hospital. Police say the driver is not facing any charges. Police have given the all clear after reported burglary at a Lexington business. They say they got an alarm at Jiffy Fastening Supplies on Fortune Drive around 2:30 this morning. They surrounded the building and even thought they saw someone on the roof. But after a couple of hours, police say they concluded no one ever made it into the business. This next story has a lot of people talking this morning. Lexington police say a toddler was left in a daycare van alone for more than 9 hours.
Luckily, you know, we can report that that little 3-year-old is okay, reportedly,
yes.
according to police. Left in the van from 4:30 in the afternoon until 2 o'clock the next morning. And now the state is investigating this. WKYT's Mark Barber is at the live desk with details.
Okay, you can see why so many people are talking about this when you consider the details of the case. The mother of the 3-year-old says that a daycare worker left her son inside a van alone for 9.5 hours. Investigators are still trying to figure out how this happened. The mother of the 3-year-old says a daycare worker left her son inside that van at the Precious Jewels Daycare on Augusta Drive. She called police Wednesday night when her son never came home. Officers called the owner of the daycare then, who then contacted an employee who was supposed to drop the 3-year-old off at home. When the daycare owner went back to the daycare, they found that little boy strapped into his car seat in a van. According to police, the toddler was in the van from 4:30 in the afternoon until 2 in the morning. The temperature reached 89 degrees that day. Paramedics checked out the boy, and fortunately, he was okay. While Lexington Police and the State Cabinet for Health and Family Services are investigating, it is important to note that no one has been charged so far. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thank you, Mark. New this morning, the Whitley County Sheriff's Office says a man has died from a weekend crash. It happened Sunday at US 25 and Highway 204. Deputies say 7 people were injured in that wreck. And this morning, we've learned one of those victims, Russell Mays, has died from his injuries. Mays was one of 3 people flown to University of Tennessee Hospital. The cause of the crash is still under investigation.
A man continues to recover this morning after being badly injured in a Laurel County crash. Happened Wednesday night on US 25 at American Greeting Card Road near Corbin. The sheriff's office says Clarendon Smith was hit by an SUV while trying to cross US 25. He was flown to UK Hospital. At last check, he was in critical condition.
Most of the bluegrass has dealt with wet weather over the course of the week, but things look to be shaping up nicely as we start the weekend, right?
Right in time.
Yeah.
That's good news. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris here at our First Alert Weather Center.
Yeah, you're getting some nasty fog outside early this morning. In some spots, not all spots. It's just like yesterday where it was very patchy as well. So traveling through here, look at WKYT Skycam. That's about 60 feet off the ground. And you can see, boy, it is pretty foggy here across Winchester Road. Defender Radar Network, nothing really going on. You got to get into the mountains of southeastern Kentucky to actually see a couple of showers. We are sandwiched in between two systems. One down toward the southeast and making their way through the Appalachians. One back towards St. Louis. You can see that. Work your way back toward Illinois, Missouri. That's heading our direction. So we are going to see a front slide through in the next 24 to 48 hours. Few storms will be with us again today. If you do get some heavy downpours, watch for some flash flooding. And that's our main focus on the forecast. Again, it's going to be that way until we get a string of dry days where we can dry some things on out. Guys, we're going to be focusing in on that in your 7-day forecast coming up in about 7 minutes.
Thank you. So, you know what they say, let the games begin.
Looking forward to this.
Yeah, the 2016 Summer Olympics officially kick off tonight with the opening ceremony.
Yeah, but people in Rio are still working around the clock to make sure everything is ready for these Olympics. Jamie Yukas is in Brazil with the latest.
Along Rio de Janeiro's famous Copacabana beach, American tourists are snapping pictures and making memories ahead of the Olympic Games.
I'm really excited to see everyone with that energy because I've never seen it before, only in the television.
Armed police officers watch the crowds very closely.
My antenna is up. It's up, but it's nice to see the presence here. I mean, it's what I would expect at Olympics.
Military ships can also be spotted right off the coast.
The well-maintained landscaping and the beautifully painted buildings are what most tourists will see here along the pedestrian walkway built specifically for the Olympics. But as you can see behind me, this is what most think of when they think of Rio: construction and worn-down buildings.
Finishing touches are being done on a new subway line expected to officially open today. It was supposed to be finished months ago. As for Team USA, most members are here and ready to go, including the most decorated Olympian ever, swimmer Michael Phelps with 22 medals. He will carry the Stars and Stripes at tonight's opening ceremony.
Just the honor and the opportunity to do that it's incredible.
Phelps is looking to add to his collection of gold, and so will all the other American athletes. While thousands of fans from around the world get a taste of the Olympics in South America for the first time ever. Jamie Yukas, CBS News, Rio de Janeiro.
Soccer games have already begun ahead of tonight's opening ceremony. The U.S. women's team beat New Zealand earlier this week. Now the Americans are trying to become the first team to win the Olympics after succeeding at the World Cup. The women's team will play again tomorrow. And there are several Olympians with Kentucky ties competing in the Rio Games.
Yeah.
Among them are two Lexington natives, runner Tyson Gay and fencer Lee Kiefer. Some University of Kentucky students are in this year's Olympics as well. Sean Gunn is swimming for Zimbabwe. And Jasmine Quinn is participating in track and field for Puerto Rico.
Western Kentucky student Emmanuel Desar is also in track and field. He's competing for Ghana. And the University of Louisville is sending 3 swimmers to Rio.
George Zimmerman is back in the news, this time over an altercation at a Florida restaurant.
And what's going on there?
This man just punched me in the face.
Okay, is he still there?
Yep. He said he's going to kill me.
Does he have any weapons?
He just sent like 3 or 4 cops. I don't know. He said he would.
According to the police report, Zimmerman says he was talking to a group of people about having shot Trayvon Martin in self-defense. It goes on to say a large white man then approached Zimmerman and asked, "You're bragging about that?" He later came back up and punched Zimmerman in the face. That's when Zimmerman called 911.
Tell me which way he goes.
I can't see, man. I'm not going to approach him. He told me he was going to kill me. He told me to shoot me. Okay. He punched me in the face.
What started the argument?
He recognized me.
Zimmerman shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in 2012. He was later found not guilty of second-degree murder.
A national organization is stepping up to help a local nonprofit in need. Ponytail Bows has created a custom hair bow for the Kentucky Equine Humane Center in Nicholasville. 100% of the proceeds will be donated to the nonprofit, a decision the company's founder felt he was led to make after hearing about the organization's mission.
They are giving horses a chance at a second life. It takes an incredible amount of knowledge to rehabilitate horses that come in, and they clearly have an incredible run, very knowledgeable program. It's amazing. So it's one that I hope we can make a major impact and help spread the word to support all over.
The U.S. Pony Finals run from August 9th through the 15th at the Kentucky Horse Park.
Get those giggles out, Rebecca. So Kentucky is famously known for its horses, as we just showed you, bourbon, and of course basketball. But now the Commonwealth is being recognized for another creation. Tomorrow is Walking Dead Day in Cynthiana. The creator and original artist of the Walking Dead graphic novel series are both Cynthiana natives and are expected to be at tomorrow's event. There will also be costume and trivia contest, plus interactive shuttle tours. It all starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and runs, well, should we say walks until 6. The event is free, but there may be cost if you choose to do some of the activities.
Do your zombie impression, Michelle.
Let's do it. Walking Dead. You asked.
That looks like more like a robot.
Oh, you didn't like it? Well, let's check to see how
it.
traffic's moving along. Come on.
No, thanks. You can do that by yourself.
Come on, Officer Don. Can you show us yours?
I can't beat that. No. I don't know what that was, but just stay out of the roadway. Okay, that's my traffic report, Michelle. No wrecks right now. We cleared the front on the interstate. 75 looks okay north and southbound here in Lexington, trying to get back to normal. Let's get a look outside, show you overall traffic flow this morning and what you have to look forward to. With no wrecks in the way, it should be a decent ride in for you inbound Nicholasville Road, also on Harrodsburg Road through the crossover. About 12 minutes to Nicholasville, 16 minutes to Georgetown, Winchester dealing with about 23. So we'll keep an eye on things and keep you up to date throughout the morning. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, thank you.
And I liked your impression. So you can get the latest traffic and weather information anytime with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Zombies, who knew they would ever be so popular?
Who knew, right? More news from WKYT this morning is on the way, and no more impressions.
Oh, man. It is the 11th annual floating of the Rubber Duckies in the Windy City, and the race made a big splash for a good cause. It's coming up after Micah's forecast.
We still have a couple of showers down towards southeastern Kentucky, and then we look toward the afternoon and evening. Then we got to look west because that's where some rain will be moving our direction. I'll show you when it enters our forecast. Coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
I mean, we have some thick fog here in Lexington, and you can see that on our Skycam. However, you go into Frankfort looking good. What about Jackson, Corbin? All looks well across 75. Moorhead, as you work your way up toward the 64 corridor, no problems whatsoever. E-Town, if you're heading toward the Bluegrass Parkway and heading that direction, that looks pretty foggy there. So it all depends on where you are. It's patchy fog here and there, a couple of showers, a couple of sprinkles down toward the southeast. Now going through hour by hour, we have big events going on today and off towards your weekend. Eastern and southeastern Kentucky, you have the best shot at some rain during the daylight hours. And I say daylight, most of the daylight hours. Once you get towards your 5, 6, 7 p.m. time frame, check out back toward the west. That's where we'll start to see some storms slowly but surely inch their way toward us. And so I would say anywhere from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Like I said earlier, I know that's a big difference, 4 hours, but obviously this is no line moving through. It's going to be bits and pieces, so some will get it ahead of others. There's 9 p.m. and still a few storms over toward the western zones. Western zones picked up a good amount of rain yesterday. I know east did too, but western zones definitely yesterday, and we may add to that later on today. So we have to be watching out for some flash flooding, some isolated spots again today, and also for your weekend. Look at Saturday. That doesn't look too good, does it? If you're trying to make some plans on Saturday, know this. Got I-27 corridor going anywhere from northern Kentucky to southern Kentucky with the yard sale going on. Morning hours is going to be your best bet to knock out some plans there doing yard selling on Saturday. Afternoon, you better have that tarp. You better have just a plan B. And not only that, but you got the raft up going on down toward Lake Cumberland on Saturday too. Look at 7 p.m. I know it kicks off at 10 a.m., but just know this. Jump out there at 10 a.m. because afternoon is a little better opportunity of rain, about 60 to 70%. If you're just heading down to Lake Cumberland or Laurel Lake, Harrington, Cave Run, most of us look pretty good today. Most of us, not all of us. I'd say still take off, enjoy it. It's not all weekend. It's not the next 3 days. It's just going to be tremendous amounts of rain. It's just going to be kind of hit and miss here and there. So small chance today. Saturday, we're sitting there with storms around, and Saturday is going to be your best opportunity. See some rain out there on the lake. Nice one there on Sunday. Guys, we got to remember that it is the last weekend for virtually everybody, not everybody, but virtually everybody, before the kids go back to school. And so people are trying to make these plans to the lake, to the water parks, to here, to there, and I'm telling you, Saturday is no doubt about it the best chance of rain in our forecast.
Well, it's good to know because there's not a lot of margin for error when it comes to getting right down there to school time.
There you go.
So right Saturday, lazy day, Sunday, lake or pool day?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. There you go.
Thank you, Micah.
Well, we know a thing or two about running a derby here in Kentucky, but Chicago is holding a different kind of derby for a good cause.
Yeah, go Ducky go. 50,000 rubber ducks were dumped into the Chicago River for the 11th annual Windy City Rubber Ducky Derby. Yeah, say that 5 times
Rubber
fast,
Ducky
right?
Derby.
Rubber Ducky Derby. I won't say it again. Spectators could adopt a duck for $5. All of the money raised helped benefit the Special Olympics in Illinois. Prizes were given out to the lucky duck winners.
Very cool.
Look at that. That is cool.
I wonder what they do with all the ducks.
Oh, good question. You should figure that out.
Yes.
Let me know.
Google that one. Stay with us. More news when we get back.
Coming up, Democratic Vice Presidential candidate Tim Kaine opens up about comparisons of Hillary Clinton to President Obama in an interview with Norah O'Donnell. Plus, how soon could drone delivery become a reality? More real news coming up on CBS This Morning, next.
6:51 is the time on your Friday morning. We're off to a busy start. Michelle has a look at what is trending right now on the web.
A man is in critical condition after being hit by a car overnight in Lexington. It happened just before 11 on North Broadway at Loudon Avenue. Police say the man was trying to cross the road when he was hit. The driver is not facing any charges. We're also tracking the investigation into an early morning house fire in Laurel County. Highway 3434 in East Bernstadt is closed because of the fire. We have learned everyone in the home made it out safely. I-75 northbound is back open after an early morning crash in Lexington. WKYT's Mark Barber was live tweeting as crews cleaned up a semi-crash. You can check out that story on WKYT.com. And we're tracking the investigation into a Lexington daycare after police say a toddler was left alone in a daycare van overnight. And we're expecting more rain today and tomorrow. You can follow Micah on Twitter at Micah Harris WX.
A Mercer County couple says someone used a picture of his newborn baby to set up a fake fundraiser online. Colin Lieber says his son Henley was born with a birth defect that caused his intestines to grow outside of his body. Despite surgeries, the baby passed away this week. But in the days after, Lieber says he was shocked to find that someone had actually set up a fake GoFundMe page in Henley's name. He says a woman stole Henley's picture online and used it for a GoFundMe page, claiming he was her son.
It's mind-blowing because I never thought that would happen to me, and I most certainly don't want that to happen to anybody else.
Can you imagine how tough that is for those parents right now? Harrodsburg police say there is an ongoing investigation into the fake fundraising page. Lieber says their family did create a fundraising page to pay for the burial costs on another site. You can find a link to that on WKYT.com. President Barack Obama says it's become much more difficult today for terrorists to carry out large-scale attacks, but he also says terror organizations are becoming more nimble. The president touched on that topic, among many others, during a news conference yesterday afternoon. The president expressed skepticism about working with Russia to reduce violence in Syria. The president also said the Zika virus that has emerged in Florida is a serious threat to Americans, and he's urging Congress to take action. He says money to fight the virus is quickly running out.
The Bastille Day truck attack in Nice has claimed another life, bringing the death toll to 85. The president of the region where the French Riviera city is located announced on Twitter that 56-year-old Pierre Hatterman has died. The local newspaper says Hatterman's wife and 13-year-old son were also killed in the incident.
There's a company that's now in the business of killing Pokemon. Looking Glass is a cybersecurity company. It's been hired by power utility companies in Florida to help stop Pokemon Go players from entering private land and encountering electrical equipment. How does Looking Glass do it? The company alters Pokemon Go's game code to eliminate the tidal creatures from restricted areas. The coders then send their suggestions to the maker of Pokemon Go, Niantic Labs. While Pokemon Go remains widely popular, concerns are growing on where players are willing to go to catch them all.
The New York Times is launching a text message journalism service for the Rio Summer Olympics. For the next 2 weeks, the paper's deputy sports editor will send text messages to readers who sign up for the service. Now, the papers say the text will give readers an informal, behind-the-scenes look at the Rio Games. Times says the people with the service will receive 3 to 4 texts a day, as well as photos and videos. Lexington's 2 newest elementary schools will hold ribbon-cutting ceremonies today. Ceremonies will be held at Coventry Oak Elementary and Garrett Morgan Elementary. The first will be at Coventry Oak at 10 this morning, followed by Garrett Morgan's at 2 o'clock. Coventry Oak is located on Huntley Place off of Georgetown Road. Garrett Morgan Elementary is on Passage Mound Way off of Polo Club Boulevard. Both schools, along with the rest of Fayette County, start school next Wednesday.
A new ATM in Cincinnati can go a long way in feeding your appetite. A new pizza ATM is preparing to make its debut on the campus of Xavier University. It's the first pizza dispensing ATM in North America. The pizza ATM is expected to sell about 300 hot pizzas throughout the day. The machine takes about 3 minutes to cook the pizza, and you can get to choose your toppings. Each pizza costs $9. The ATM goes into service next week, and I can imagine this would be a hit really anywhere in the country, don't you think?
Yes, I think they would make good money off of one here at the station.
Definitely. It's probably going to happen. Let's check in with Micah for a final look at our weather.
Still a little patchy fog outside early this morning. Got to be watching out for that. Some of us waking up to a really good looking start with some clear skies outside, so a lot of sunshine in some spots. But unfortunately, some of us dealing with some of that fog. That range trying to move on out. Watch for a few more to develop in the east and southeastern zones as we go through your day. And then once we get deep into your day, late afternoon, early evening, that's when we'll start to see some storms move on in back toward the west. And so there's not a great chance of rain. Much of your day is going to be dry. But then here come a few storms, and the weekend, definitely. The weekend, Saturday does not look good. It looks like scattered showers and thunderstorms there on Saturday. So today, a few storms. Much of your day stays dry. Knock out some plans outdoors because Saturday looks pretty rainy. Sunday looks pretty good, though. It's not all that bad out here on Sunday.
We need a break from the rain, right?
Yep. All right. Nobody's more up to date than you to start your day. Have an awesome day and a great weekend.